So I've been wanting to touch upon this topic for quite a while now. It's just I don't think people can take criticism properly. So of course the question is MNK on consoles cheating? Well, of course it is. But I want to break down why that's not the reason why you're hard struck gold, silver, plat, and even quote unquote bronzes. Before the video starts, I just want to inform you that I do stream on Twitch. Link will be in the description or bio, whatever it's called. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on twitch.tv/GarfieldIsDoc around 11 Eastern to 3 o'clock East. See you there. Now, in no way am I trying to defend anybody that uses a mouse and keyboard on console, because it is for sure cheating, like I said before. The only reason that you should ever be using MNK on console is if you have some type of physical disability or any type of disability where it forces you to have to use this type of mechanics. Now, besides that, the whole reason I'm making this video, because I don't believe that this is the sole reason that, for example, your silver, gold, plat, hard struck, whatever. I feel like a lot of people on console try to use this as a scapegoat, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, to be honest, because people don't like this. A lot of people just tend to make tons of excuses, and that's totally okay. Now, you're probably watching this if you're on console. You're probably like, oh, well, you're on PC, so like, what do you know about this? Well, I started my first 5 years on Siege playing on Xbox. I was always controller. I went from playing on an Afterglow controller, my first ever season Hidden Diamond, to Elite Series 1 controller, and then Series 2. This game is definitely still playable in its current state. I don't think MNK is the sole reason that you're stuck in your position. Now, maybe if you were to blame, for example, the DDoSing situation, which occurs around plat and up elo, that makes total plausible sense. But let's break down why MNK isn't the main issue and why you're the issue. First, I would like to say I was champion on console every season on controller. I never stacked with a bunch of MNK players. I just stacked with the homies. We just played, we grinded, and we just communicated with each other. And that is just enough for what it takes to, be that high of an elo. It takes a lot of grind and self-evaluation to get where I was when it comes to elo. At one point, like 2 seasons ago, I believe I was top 40 or 50. I used to stream all the time. That's if maybe you recognize me. I was one of the top streamers on console at that time until I switched to PC. So I never had to cheat to get that rank, and I just self-evaluated and got better and better and better. I never really blame people on MNK. Like, sure, I would get slammed quite a bit, and I was nowhere near close to being a great controller player when it comes to aim. I just tended to outsmart people, and that's really all it takes on console, in my opinion. If you're just able to use, your brain and understand utility usage, then you can understand and overcome beating those MNK players. Because most of the time, people that go from silver to like plat to diamond in one season, they're more likely buying an MNK, and they're more than likely very stupid. They just have a little bit of a aim advantage compared to you. So going forward, what I think you need to do if you're watching this video and anything I just said relates to you, I don't think you should go and buy an MNK. I think that's a waste of money. I feel like you need to self-evaluate what you're actually doing wrong. Like I said before, this game is about utility usage, how you coordinate with your team, and it's a little bit of gun skill. Of course, a lot of people just tend to say that any person on a high sensitivity is MNK, but that just tends to be they're on a high sensitivity. Just because you don't know your own sense and the controller player does know his sense and he plays well doesn't mean he's MNK either. A lot of people get that wrong, and they're a bunch of clowns. If you really, really, really want to achieve the higher ranks like Diamond and Champion, if that's even possible with the DDoSing situation, which is just, to be honest, a whole nother video that I'll probably do on DG's channel. But what you need to start doing now, you need to self-evaluate. You need to start playing a lot more terrorist hunts. You need to get your controller mechanics down very, very, very quickly, because a lot of people tend to just, like I said, blame MNK players for the reasons why they're losing their gunfights when they're in like silver to gold elo. There's not that many MNK players in that elo, and if they are, there's a reason why they're only silver or gold. Now, if you're content with that rank, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're really trying to shoot up for the higher elo and you want to see self-improvement, like I said, self-evaluation. You need to evaluate what your main issue is as a player. It could be simple stuff like positioning, could be crosshair placement, which I see in a lot of console players, including myself when I was on console. Crosshair placement is probably one of the most underrated things that people don't talk about, because a lot of people will just be aiming knee level, chest level, And that's because a lot of people crouch spam, and it's a lot harder to readjust your aim on a controller compared to MNK. But this game's a one-shot headshot game. So if you can just learn your sensitivity properly and actually understand what you're doing, you should be A-okay. Besides that, when it comes to crosshair placement, I think another key issue that players have is they'll come to a game like Rainbow Six Siege with just only understanding like other FPS games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, and they come to think that it's just a TDM match. They think that they play alone and they just get frags and they'll win games. Now, don't get me wrong, of course you need to kill the enemy, but your main objective going into attacking round should be, how can I get this plant down, and how can I use my utility efficiently to burn their utility and get rid of their utility. On defense, it's really how can I deny the plant, and how can I waste as much time possible. That goes into a whole nother discussion, especially looking at roamers. A lot of players just tend to think that if they get one frag and die, hey, at least I got one person. Now, as a roamer, your main objective should be wasting time. I'd rather have a roamer that can waste like all the clock on the timer and not get a frag than someone that gets one pick that's empty, basically. It's the level of understanding and just point of view going into games, realizing that, hey, I'm going to be hard struck gold if I don't start playing for the team. And that's most of the reasons that people are hard struck gold or even plat. It's not everything that's against them. Don't get me wrong, I don't think MNK is fair in any way, but it's not like, they're a million HP. It's not like you're on PC when you face a hacker, you're getting spin botted. So I think that people just need to start practicing a little more when it comes to their mechanics and their crosshair placements. There's many of different ways that you can train your aim. But another thing is just using your utility properly. Instead of going to a game, seeing if you can get 20 frags, go into a game trying to make your teammates better and yourself play better. Because if you use your utility properly, like droning your teammates in, it just changes the whole game. It makes the game so much easier. It will flow better. You let the frags come to you at the end of the day. Another thing that stands out is just, besides, DDoSers, I understand that playing alone can be very difficult because, don't get me wrong, you play with a lot of weird people when you solo queue, but when it comes to finding teammates, you need to literally go out and find some players, whether that's through Discord servers, the YouTube comments. Like, use any of my YouTube videos in the comments to engage with other people, and just comment maybe your platform, what level they are, whatever, and just talk to them. People just don't engage enough, and they just think if they go off LFGs, that will do the work, but it doesn't. Go off any social media and find people. Just engage, spark up a conversation, because there's so many people that just solo queue, and I understand how unenjoyable that can be. But the whole idea and point of this video was stop blaming MNK and start evaluating yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to get anywhere if you constantly blame other people when you probably have a lot of flaws when it comes to your gameplay. Now, I appreciate you watching the video and sticking around till the end. And if you have any comments, please drop it down below. I would love to have a conversation, whether you think I'm right or wrong. I definitely do agree that MNK is cheating and that the current state of console siege is very awful since DDoSing is so apparent and just bold. Besides that, thank you so much for watching. One love. This is Garfield.